coming out on top last night in the 90s. Everybody knew, I think. 97th Oscars with 5 wins, including Best Director, Best Actress, Best Picture. Joining us now, Matt Belloni, Puck founding partner. Say that 3 times real fast for me, Matt.
Puck founding partner, I can do that.
Puck,
very tough.
Puck founding partner. Careful for me. Careful, I had to be. How are you? It's good to see you. You see what I sent you?
I'm doing okay. Listen,
you see my
I'm
son
home from the parties.
19 out of 23.
Early there, it's late here.
Did you see what I sent you on a text?
Yeah, I did, but honestly, I got so many texts last night that I didn't look completely at it.
19 out of 23 is pretty good as a prediction for his. He writes a column. That's 83%. That's pretty. It's usually an average about 75. Wouldn't you think?
That's good, and that's actually better than most of the professional pundits will get.
Oh, he's a
because
professional
they're often
pundit.
Not correct.
for Awards Daily, which I don't know if you know that whole story. It's crazy, but yeah, he's got one. I just tweeted it out for anyone who's interested. Did you think it might be? It might still be Conclave, or maybe even Brutalist, or were you an Anora guy?
I looked at the numbers, and Anora had the momentum. I thought there could have been a surprise in any one of those numbers, just because there really had been there was no front runner this year. There was no Oppenheimer. There was nothing that the Academy seemed to be coalescing around, and yet we saw Anora walk away with 5 big awards. I mean, this is unbelievable that in a wide open year, we've had such not a sweep, but such a major winner like this.
And even Demi Moore, did you have Demi? Because Mikey Madison was kind of a surprise, too. That wasn't a long shot, but it was 50-50, I guess, for best female actor.
Yeah, it was a surprise in the sense that that Demi Moore had picked up all of the precursor awards except for the BAFTA, and the Academy is increasingly foreign-based. The membership is a lot overseas, so it was not a huge shock, but it was certainly the surprise of the night. There weren't a lot of big surprises in the other categories. And I think Mikey Madison beating Demi Moore certainly qualifies as a surprise. But if you saw the signs there, she did pick up the BAFTA there, and the movie just kind of rolled over everything. Voters showed that they loved the movie in many different ways, and she kind of picked up that momentum and ran with it.
Well, we have come a long way, because I was out on, I don't know, one of those nights, and we were talking to an elderly couple that said they were going to see Anora, and I just said, okay, it's because I'm such a happening, like, youthful guy. Nothing bothered me about Anora, but you got to be prepared for Anora before you go see it, don't you think?
Especially the first 40, 45 minutes or so. There's some pretty R-rated activities in that movie.
There is.
But it also has a lot of heart. That's the thing. That movie has a lot going for it. Academy members tend to vote with their hearts in the final voting, and there is a lot of emotion in it. It's a comedy, it's a drama, it's a road trip movie. It's got, guns, it's got gangsters, there's a Russia element. So it brings in a lot of constituencies there.
You saw all of them, Matt? I guess you have to.
I do, yes.
Adrien Brody is a genius, but Brutalist was aptly named, I thought, was it not?
You know what? It doesn't feel as long as you would think with the 3.5-hour tag on it. There is an intermission. If you see it in a theater, you can go get a soda, as I did. And it really does satisfy. It's an epic. And I think Adrien Brody, because of the commitment to that performance, the Hungarian accent, all of the kind of epic elements of that film, it ended up being more than Timothée Chalamet could deliver in A Complete Unknown. He was great, but I think the Academy looked at the Adrien Brody performance and said, this is the full package. He's in almost every scene of the movie. It is an epic film, and it was a way to honor this film when the rest of the categories basically went to Anora.
Will anyone watch? Could you ever see ratings going up?
For the Academy, for the Oscars?
Yeah.
Well, there's a wild card this year. because it aired on Hulu for the first time.
That screwed it up.
Live on Hulu. The show has only been live on ABC. There were some glitches last night, and people complained about that. And I talked to some of the Disney people at the Governor's Ball, and they were acknowledging that it was a disappointment that Hulu was glitchy. But maybe they could get a boost out of that. Don't think they're going to get to the 19.5 million viewers they got for last year's show, which was fueled by the interest in Barbenheimer, in Barbie and Oppenheimer. But we'll see, because it's a wild card how many younger people might watch via Hulu that might not have watched otherwise.
Do we know how hosting should be done now? I think Conan, Conan had a late night show, I might actually watch a late night show again.
Well, it's got a podcast. You can listen to that. It's very good.
But that's exactly what we needed last night, don't you think?
Yeah, I think, listen, they hired Conan O'Brien because, in part, they knew that he would be an apolitical host. They know that half the country, or a big chunk of it, does not want to see the Trump jokes on the show. And there was one towards the end of the show, but for the most part, I mean, he didn't say the words Donald Trump the entire night. And it was a very kind of down the middle, very funny and creative and wacky, and he did some funny bits, but they avoided, for the most part, the politics issue. And that was, I think, pretty important for the Academy, especially in this moment. They didn't want to be seen as antagonizing, and they got the show that they asked for.